Shalom and good day, brothers and sisters. This is a continuation of the walls of Jericho. This will be part two, dealing with a review of some things that the Father, not a review, let me correct myself. This is in addition to the walls of Jericho, which would be part two. There are some things that I need to add before we go into the next upcoming word. So, what you see before you here, brothers and sisters, this is dealing with the timeline here that the Father has me to work on when we are studying the biblical prophecies. Okay. And when we look at the walls of Jericho, the Father, as I begin to meditate on it, the walls of Jericho, which may be obvious to some of you, but if not, it is dealing with the prophecies that pertain to Yahusha HaMashiach. Yahusha HaMashiach is the son of Yah. He is the Messiah, the anointed one, and he is our Savior and our deliverer, speaking unto the saints, and the saints are made up of the bride and Messiah and the 144,000, and he is a Savior and deliverer to the children of Israel. Okay, for soon the two candlesticks or the two sticks known as the two menorah will come together to be one kingdom, and they will be under his rule. So what you see before you is a timeline here, um, and we're going to look at the walls of Jericho. So as I said before, it pertains to the Messiah. Now, when we look at the 7-day prophecy or the week prophecy that that the high priest Esdras gave unto us, that is found in Second Esdras chapter 7, that is pertaining to the Most High. And looking at the timeline will give you a greater understanding. So when you go back to the Old Covenant and you read it along with the renewed covenant, known as the New Testament, you will see what prophecies pertain to the Messiah and what prophecies pertains to our Father in heaven, when each of them shall bring their judgments. And the word teaches us that the Son is just like the Father, and the Father has given his Son all powers and authority in heaven and in earth. So when you're studying about who he is or who he should remind you of, he should remind you of our Father in heaven, for all things was taught to him by our Father in heaven. Therefore, he does as his Father does. So them two are not against each other. They are working together in one accord, just as a man and wife work together as one accord. Um, so there are certain things that the Messiah has to fulfill in order for the Father to come with the new Jerusalem and with the eternal judgment. So, looking at the timeline to give you an understanding where we're at, we are in the second week. Also, in the Hebrew tongue, they said Sabbathoth. Sabbathoth. That is the week that we are in. And when you go back to the beginning, and which is Bereshit, which is Genesis, and you begin to read what all the forefathers wrote unto us, as well what the Messiah and his apostles spoke unto us, you begin to see the bigger picture and begin to understand why 7 is a significant number and why this week must go forth. When you learn about the number 7, 7 is a number that represents sanctification. Now, we have other examples in the Bible in the Old Covenant, such as I remember the young lad who um, wasn't feeling well, and then he ended up dying. And to get right straight to the point, when the prophet, and I believe this was with, I want to say Elisha, um, the boy had to sneeze 7 times. And If you know anything about our Father, it's a divine reason why he had him to sneeze 7 times. So when you read the testimony of this young lad, you will learn that he was out in the field with his father and he came home and he said he wasn't feeling well. So I was learning about the respiratory system, with your nose and your throat and your lungs. And it sounded like this young lad had a severe allergy to the point where it affected his respiratory system, and he probably had an allergic reaction to whatever he was exposed in the field. But the father had him to sneeze 7 times. Okay. And this is my mind. I asked the father, why would you have him to sneeze 7 times? Why would this be so? So when you look up about sneezing, sneezing is to help the respiratory system to expel anything that should not be there. It is to expel or get out or to remove any impurities that should not be there. So sneezing does have a divine purpose, reason, as you begin to study it. And notice that the Father had him to do it 7 times. And as I began to meditate, Father was letting me know that 7 is the number to represent that you have to be cleansed. 7 is the number to let you know this is what leads you to be pure. 7 is the number of holiness. 7 is the number of goodness. It is a number to show there's no sin, no transgression. Just like it's a number to represent there's no impurities in you. There's no defilement in you. You are clean now, holy, anointed, set apart unto the Father. So as we look at this timeline, now we begin to understand why a week must pass, okay, in order for our sanctification to come. Looking at the sin and transgression of our foreparents, Adam and Eve. So this divine testimony had to be played out. And this is why it's so important that when the Father give us earthly examples, we need to sit down with him and meditate and begin to ask the Father what it means, what it represents. Because if you understand the earthly things, then you're going to understand the heavenly things. Then you're going to understand the prophecies. Then you understand why these things must be and why these things must happen and why these things must come to pass. It is to restore us. It is to refresh us. Going back into what? Sabbath, Shabbat. This is why it's so important to understand the divine purpose of Sabbath. It's not only to rest, but it's to be what? Refresh. And you're going to see why this is so important to understand these divine things. For the word is that is to come next. It is the makeup of the beast, the lion, and the eagle. Part 1. That is the word to come. So these things I'm mentioning now is going to help us to understand the divine prophecies that happened in the past, as well as the divine prophecies that is to come to pass, because the Father wants you to know these things so you can be prepared for what is coming. Not to be in fear, but to be prepared, so your faith will not waver. Remember, he judges us upon our heart, and from our heart we should be adjoined to his Son and not to the spirit of Satan, and from his holy seed, which is the living word, which is his Son, who lives in our heart, which is our bellies, we should be producing the 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit. And then from that point, our faith should increase, meaning that we trust in him, we believe in him, we don't doubt him, we don't waver, no matter what. Something that the Father is having me to learn too. And we believe, because if you believe, you won't what? You won't disobey. And obedience is better than sacrifice. And from that point, our works, which means our doings, our deeds, how we live our life in this world, how did we treat our fellow brothers and sisters in this world, reflects what's in our heart and reflects what kind of faith we have. Okay? So we are in the second week, okay? And we are in, I'm trying to look at the right date, okay? For Enoch 10-week prophecy, we are in week 7. And Enoch's 10-week prophecy for week 7 will begin from the 6500 year from Adam to the 7499 year. Okay? That's where it begins for Enoch 10-week prophecy. And the Romans, because we're in the fourth beast, y'all, this is the Romans kingdom, okay? So in this Roman kingdom, they call this age or this time period the common era. And the common era, according to the Romans, means a year in our time, for this is the year of the Gentiles. And how we know, when we read our blessed Messiah, he says in Luke chapter 21, he said, and let me look it up to make sure I say it correctly, because the Apostle Paul is going to confirm what the Messiah has said in Luke chapter 21 when you read Romans chapter 11, okay? And remember, I gave y'all the mystery about the coming year. And for those who have not seen that mystery, it is revealed through Noah's Ark. Okay? So we begin to understand why the Father has given, what's the word I'm looking for? 2 days of his time unto the Gentiles to come in to receive the gospel. Okay? When you understand that mystery, then you understand what Paul has written unto you in Romans 11. Okay, I'm almost there, y'all. So Luke chapter 21, it says here in verse 24, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword. Now, what the Messiah is saying here, that the Jews or the Israelites, or you call them Hebrews, they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. So we know this is a true divine prophecy, for you can see all of us in these lands, in these countries, and we are at the bottom. We are low, okay? We are oppressed and vexed. We are hated by many nations, okay? So they shall be led away captives into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Now, what the Messiah is talking about here is revealed in Romans chapter 11, verse 25. The Father has given 2 days of his time unto the Gentiles to come in and to receive the gospel. Okay? That is one of the mysteries that our Father is revealing unto us now. And there are in the Northern Kingdom books, Prophet Moses wrote those books, some of those books, and it confirmed that divine prophecy too. Okay? So we are in week 7 of Enoch's 10-week prophecy. Now, week 7 falls in between 2 days. Okay? It falls in day 12 of Yah and day 13 of Yah. Far as Adam, it falls in day 7 and day 8 of Adam. Okay. And to understand where we at now that we have in this time, let me see, can I find it right here? So we are in day 8, day 8 of Adam, because I got the year of 2024 to be 7,492. So we're in day 8. So we're getting close to the latter end of this time period of Enoch's 10-week prophecy. Okay. For soon, um, in week 8 of Enoch's 10-week prophecy, we have it to be the week of righteousness. And that's when the Messiah shall establish his kingdom upon the earth. So we can see the signs in heaven and the earth to confirm that. So we're getting close to the end of this age. Okay. So when I convert that time, we are actually in day 13 of Yah, which is it falls in 12,001 to 13,000 from creation. Now day 8 from Adam falls in 7,001 to 8,000. So we are in this time period, okay? But it falls between week 7 and week 8 of Enoch 10-week prophecy. And this is very important. So going back to the walls of Jericho, we got confirmation this is dealing with the Messiah, okay? The Messiah has to prepare the way for the Father to come. He has to get the earth back in check and back into righteousness and give the earth back over to the righteous ones, okay? So that's what we were learning about the walls of Jericho. Now, when we look at the 7-day prophecy that the high priest Ezra was talking about, um, in 2nd Ezra chapter 7, you would see here that this is dealing with the Father. And if we line it up, it falls in day 8 of Yah, okay? Remember, 1,000 years unto Yah is a day. And it falls in day 3 from Adam. Now, the reason I put day 3 from Adam is because we know how we started the count from Adam, okay? So day 6 of Yah is day 1 of Adam. Day 7 of Yah is day 2 of Adam. So day 8 of Yah is day 3 of Adam. Okay, very important to know. So when we look at day 7 prophecy, okay, day 7, which is what? A Sabbath, all right? And the Sabbath falls on day 14 of Yah and day 9 from Adam, okay? And then following after the Sabbath, or following the Sabbath, we have his eternal judgment to come, which is Revelation 20 and 2nd Ezra 7. Okay. And we have that to fall in day 15 from Yah and day 10 from Adam. And when I look at Enoch's 10-week prophecy, so when we look at Enoch's 10-week prophecy and bring it up a little bit more so we can see what day 15, okay? So notice what happened in the Sabbath day of day 14 when we look at Enoch's 10-week prophecy. So in week 8 of Enoch's 10-week prophecy, again, we hear, I said before, the Messiah establishing his kingdom upon the earth is known as the millennial reign. And the other part that falls in the Sabbath day is week 9 of Enoch's 10-week prophecy. Okay. So here we have righteous judgment to take place, and righteous judgment is revealed to the world. Then we have the works of godless vanish. So the godliness works will be vanished, and the world written for destruction. So we know that's dealing with the fire that will come upon the earth, because it has to be what? Renewed, refreshed. So it can begin with a clean start now. Okay, so we see that week 8 and week 9 of Enoch's 10-week prophecy, a part of both of those time periods fall in the Sabbath day. So now we're seeing how it aligns up to what Ezra wrote in chapter 7 for when we look at day 15 of Yah, okay, which is day 10 of Adam, what we explained, what we expounded earlier. We now see week 9 and week 10 of Enoch's 10-week prophecy to fall in that time period. And looking at week 10, according to Enoch, this is where we have the great eternal judgment. So now we're seeing how everything is aligning up, that when our Father comes to bring his eternal judgment, it will fall part in day 15, and then we have what? Eternity. Okay, so here this is where we have great eternal judgment from our Father known as the Most High, Yahuwah. And vengement will be taking a place amongst the angels, and the first heaven depart and pass, and a new heaven shall come forth, and the light shall be what? Sevenfold brighter, 7 times more brighter. So when you get a chance, read Enoch's 10-week prophecy, and you'll see. But what I want to show you was the difference between the walls of Jericho prophecy, which was um, referring to the Messiah and his millennial reign. Okay, difference from Ezra's 10-week prophecy, which prefer which sorry y'all. When we look at Second Ezra chapter 7, 7-day prophecy, that is dealing with our Father in heaven. So as you see, we still have a lot more taking place, because as we discussed in part 1 of the walls of Jericho, we do see day 13, okay, day 13 to line right on up. When we go back to day 13, right? This is dealing with the walls of Jericho. This is dealing with week 7 come to an end, and the Messiah bringing his millennial reign, okay? So it falls right in place when we do the math correctly. So I'm going to say this again. The walls of Jericho prophecy is dealing with Yahusha HaMashiach and what he shall bring forth in the earth. Okay? For he has to prepare the way for the Father to come. And once that is fulfilled, then starting in day 15 of Yah, which is day 10 from Adam, started in that time period, then the Father will come with the eternal judgment, judging all. Okay? That's dealing with your second resurrection, and dealing with the angels and those stars. He has to judge too. So everything's falling right in place. Okay? So, and then can the new Yahusha come, and this prophecy shall be fulfilled, or what the prophet Ezekiel was saying unto us. Now, I want to make sure I get this right. And this is dealing with our Father in heaven. So when he brings the new Jerusalem, or the new Jerusalem to come, which represent the Holy of Holies. Okay, go back to Torah. Remember, the children of Israel is what? His holy people, and they represent what? The holy sanctuary. Okay, so when we look at the prophet Ezekiel, he prophesies unto us that when the Father bring the new Jerusalem, this shall take place. Okay, I'm getting there, y'all. verse 35, and I'm in chapter 48. And it says, it was round about 18,000 measures. And the name of the city from that day shall be, the Lord is there. Now, in the Hebrew tongue, we would say, Yahuwah Shema, Shema, Yahuwah Shema. Okay, I'm in Ezekiel chapter 48. Read that whole chapter. Okay, for that chapter deals with the portions of the 12 tribes of the sanctuary, of the city and suburbs, and of the prince, the dimensions and gates of the city. Okay, so that place will be called Yahuwah Shema, meaning the Lord is there. Okay, so that is the understanding that I have received at this time that deals with your 7-day prophecy from the high priest Ezra in 2nd Ezra chapter 7, and dealing with the walls of Jericho prophecy in the book of Joshua. So if you are new, you have not heard that prophecy, please watch part 1, because the next word to come out is the makeup of the fourth beast, the lion and the eagle, part 1. Shalom.